Thank you so much. Coming up next is a session on trade finance platform, integrating logistic offerings. May I request Mr. Devang Mankodi, Vice President, Transformation, DP World Subcontinent, to kindly come on the dais for the presentation. Thank you.
This is actually very well placed between a finance session and a logistics session. And I'm going to speak about some innovative ways in which logistic and finance can add value to MSME. Very quickly, if you can put the slide, while they put up very quick introduction about DP World. We are a global, or we used to be a global port operator operating container terminals across the globe. And in India, we are one of the biggest container terminal operator. So can I just give me a minute and let them start the presentation. So just a brief about DP World. It is a government of Dubai owned company. In India, we have partnered with National Infrastructure Investment Fund, which owns the equity. And this fund has been set up by Government of India, where Government of India has 49% stake. And it is largely focusing on developing infrastructure projects in the country. The whole thinking of DP World in India as well as NIIF is to reduce the logistic cost for all the exporter, importer, SMEs and make it much more seamless. Now that you can only do by investing in assets where you control the logistic chain and then offer a service which is really needed by the BCOs. Now, in order to do that, today if you see in the logistic space, everything is very fragmented and changed multiple hands when a container moves from one location to from an importer to an exporter. So you have to deal with trucker to start with, CHA, take it into the rail if you are exporting from NCR, bring it to the port, handle in port, put it on the ship, and same chain happens on the other side. Now what DP World is trying to do is to transform itself from a pure port operator to a integrated logistics solution provider. So if you see, this is the map we had of DP World, our presence in India, I would say in 2016, where we were operating only the port and terminals. Now this is what we are. What we have started doing is to invest in ports. We have invested in container freight stations. We have invested in railhead. We are the biggest, second biggest player after Concor on the container train operations. We have started operating trains, container trains, around 50 plus. This is dated. And in order to be an integrated player, we have started contract logistic, forwarding, and all the businesses, the express cargo business, wherein you can supply goods from one point to another point. So that is how we are transforming from our logistic standpoint. Since we are talking about finance and logistics, so digitization is going to change the way of life for everyone. It has happened in B2C because I book my own ticket on yatra.com or make my trip. But when it comes to going on a corporate travel, I will tell my secretary to do. I think this will change and it will change very, very quickly. So you will see corporates doing the digital transactions, setting their internal authority limits in terms of whether you should go to L1, L2 and make the selection. It will all happen on a platform. So what we have done is to start giving this experience to the end customer or SMEs is to, and especially it becomes very difficult for a small and medium player to go to a big shipping line and ask for a container, ask for a rate. So the thinking is that since we are going to control the assets, we are going to build a digital platform, or we have started building it, wherein a customer can come select from which location he wants to ship the container and where exactly it needs to go. And on the back end, we will give the entire costing. So today, it takes a lot of time for the SMEs to calculate the cost of what will be the logistic cost from one point to B point. We'll consolidate and give it only one price, which will be a sum total of trucking, rail, shipping, and destination related transportation as well. So life becomes very easy for a exporter to go and do the booking, and then we take the ownership of the cargo end to end. Either it is done through DP World or through DP World partners, and you give a seamless experience. So all the intersection points between a trucker and a rail or a rail and a ship is all eliminated, and that this platform is going to facilitate. So what we are encouraging all the SMEs is to start using this platform to do their logistic booking. Now, logistic and finance is a very close connect, and we have realized that if you go purely to a customer with your logistic offering, you are treated like a trucker, and there is how people will talk to you. But along with that, if you can partner with your customers and start meeting their logistic needs or logistic finance needs, it is going to give a big help. And what we have seen is that today, it is like a credit card story. If I don't want a credit card, I will get 25 calls. But when I need finance, I will not have anyone coming to me. And which is very similar for the SMEs or MSMEs. A sanction limit takes a lot of time from a bank to get approved. So what we have realized that there is a gap. Today, 50% of the trade which comes from SMEs, they get only 10% of the capital allocation in terms of the trade finance. So there is a big gap, and if we can bridge the gap by giving trade finance to them, definitely it will help them to increase their turnover, and it is going to increase business for us. So that's why we have, along with the logistic platform, we have started a trade finance platform which is largely, as of today, catering to the EXIM trade. Now, we spoke about the domestic financing as well, and that also we are encouraging the FIs to come on the platform, encouraging the small and BCOs to register themselves. So the advantage is they have to do the KYC only once. Today, if you want to get a funding, you have to go to 10 banks and meet their documentation requirement at 10 places. Now that we are going to facilitate digitally, and then that customer probably can be viewed by all the FIs, and he will get the necessary funding from all of the FIs which is there. So what it is going to do is, it is going to give them additional access to the FIs. It will give him transparency at what price it is being done. It will make the process very efficient, and he will have a much wider market digitally to approach. So in terms of products, it will be pure inventory financing. It could be a bill discounting, or it could be a product where we can do even the buyer's credit on the platform. And in order to do that, DP World, along with the FIs, is open to start allocating capital and fund the client. Now, the upside there is that it is going to result into a larger turnover for the BCOs. They are going to use more and more logistic services, and we all grow mutually in terms of that. Last thing which I want to just leave a thought, and this is a pilot which we did real life. There was a customer who was not going to get any credit from anyone purely because of his credit rating. He is a small exporter in Panipat, and he was exporting the goods to Jebel Ali. Now, typically for him, he will have to wait for 15 days transit till the container reaches Jebel Ali, and then he gets paid by his customer at his whims and fancy. So what we agreed with an FI, the DP World took the ownership of taking that container in Panipat. The day on which we released the bill of lading, a house bill of lading from DP World, the funding was given by the FI to him on day one. So the moment the container is stuffed in his factory, he was able to get the finance, and we were holding the cargo with us till the time it reaches Jebel Ali. So FI was also comfortable in terms of taking that credit risk, and the day on which the buyer of the consignment made the payment, for that period, we deducted interest and made the differential payment. So I think this is the kind of solutioning which we need to do. And the entire traditional trade finance, which is done on a corporate guarantee of a customer and various types of documentation, it is going to fade away as we go forward. And digitally, the way in which if a logistic player, FI and the BCO can come together, they are going to reap the benefits. So I think this is where I will end. Any questions, feel free to reach out to me or my colleague and we'll be able to help. And this is for all the BCOs. Anything on trade finance and logistic if they need, we are happy to serve. Thank you. So I have ensured that you are not further delayed.